All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. We have a 9-game slate in the NBA today. It is Monday, November 25th, so Thanksgiving coming up. Maybe you guys got some family coming in and whatnot. So it could be a fun time to watch a game, have a little bit of money on it. Don't go too crazy on it, especially in November with all those injuries, which is where we're going to start today's video, going over the 9 games and just seeing the amount of injuries. In terms of November so far, it's been a down month for me, and it hasn't been a down month in terms of individual hit rates. Our hit rate's been really, really good actually individually, but the game is we are going for these big money payouts. We're going for 5 mans on PrizePicks, 6 mans on PrizePicks, these plus 900 plays, these plus 500 plays for 3 mans on a 6x payout like Underdog or Dabble or something like that. So that's just how it goes. It hasn't been rolling our way. Some really unfortunate plays where we're getting 12 for 3 in terms of our individual plays, and those 3 plays ends up being on different slips where we're missing by 1 leg. So it's been unfortunate, but again, the reads have been there. I think I've got some good reads today, especially with some injury news and things like that, but it has been a little bit harder to predict just because of, you don't know who's going to be in the lineup, how that's going to affect certain guys and things like that. But we're just going to keep going, keep grinding it out. I know the hot streak will eventually, start to come. Things will start rolling our way. Again, looking at the individual hit rate that we've been hitting at, mathematically, we're going to be up in most situations. It's just been a rough patch for me, specifically in the month of November. Add on the fact, I think the allergies are kicking my butt. The change of the tide in the seasons, I literally can't hear out of my left ear at all. I don't know what's going on. I've got a cough, all these different things. So down in the dumps a little bit on my side of things, but we're going to grind it out, keep it going, and hopefully get some good reads for today. So like always, I give out plays. I send as many plays as I can out. You can always choose. Maybe you don't agree with my reasoning on a certain guy. Don't include that guy in your parlay if you don't agree with what I'm saying. But if you do agree with what I'm saying and I'm pointing out some good points and you're like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. If you're liking it and I'm liking it, it's pretty good play. It's a good way to do things. So kind of a rant here to start things off, but let's talk about some injury news and then we'll get into some plays for today. If you're new around here, though, definitely go ahead and subscribe, leave the video a like, comment something down below, and let's get into it. All right, so like I mentioned, we're going to start today with the injuries here. And we're going to go through each and every team, and you're going to be like, wow, literally every team has some sort of injury news. Let's start with Toronto and Detroit. First of all, just go down here. No Quickly still, no Olynyk still, no Bruce Brown still. They finally get Scotty Barnes back, so he's obviously their best player on this team for the foreseeable future. So it's good to get him back. But again, 3 key injuries of guys that would be playing. Next over to Detroit, Cade Cunningham probably not going to play in this one. He's obviously their best player. Moving along to New Orleans, they haven't had a full team the entire season. They look like the Grizzlies from last year. No Zion, no DeJounte Murray, no Herb Jones, no Alvarado. Is Brandon Ingram going to play? Potentially. They're finally looking like they're going to get McCollum back, which is nice, but they're obviously super injured as well. For the Indiana Pacers, still no Nembhard, still no Naismith. Now Ben Shepherd added to that injury report. They're banged up a little bit. Orlando hasn't had their best player for the past few weeks. Paolo stays out. Looks like Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Suggs also on the injury report. Wendell potentially returning soon, which could be nice for this team. But obviously Paolo, their best player, has been out. So random guys have been stepping up. Obviously Suggs, Batatse, and Mo Wagner, guys that are kind of going to be hit or miss in terms of starting lineups. Who's the one that's going to get the most touches for that center position there? Charlotte moving along here. They haven't had a center all year. I mean, look at their power forward and center slot. They are obviously banged up. No Miles Bridges today. No Trey Mann as well. Dallas, no Luka Doncic. We can just keep going. For Atlanta, finally getting healthy. They've had a whole bunch of guys out, but finally a little bit getting healthy here. But in this game, no Luka. That's the big thing there. Going into the Clippers and Boston. Looks like Boston's getting Porzingis back, which would be nice. I don't think Al Horford's going to play. Luke Cornett, so they're missing a few bigs, but Porzingis is going to be back. I don't expect him to play a whole bunch of minutes coming back from that huge injury. And then obviously Kawhi, the Clippers' best player, also out for this game. So we could just keep going down the line here. You can see the pileup of injuries. Now Ayton, now Klingon is going to be out after having that Amir Sheik-esque game where he had 19 rebounds and 0 points. I think it's like the most rebounds without points in a long, long time. Go to Memphis, John Morant probably still out. Their rookie, Zach Edey, a ton of guys for that team as well. New York, is Towns going to play? Going to Denver, Jokic is back from having the baby, but Aaron Gordon continued to be out. It's almost comical if you look down the line. So again, I'm starting this video out kind of on a down morale-wise, but just kind of pointing out the injury news that has been so huge for this year. So sorry for kind of the down I don't know, emotions here. I'm not typically like this, but on top of the change of seasons and kind of allergies kicking my butt, it's been rough for us. So keep this in mind. Definitely play a little bit lighter as we go through this rough part of the NBA. But did want to point out all these injuries for you guys. But now let's just jump into plays and I'll hopefully find some good reads for what we got going on. All right, so moving into the desktop screen here, if you're not on PrizePicks and you want to jump on board with some of these plays, use code RichPicks when signing up. They're going to load your account up with $50 instantly. All you got to do is use my code and bet $5 to activate that. It's a pretty cool deal there. And we're going to start off with PJ Washington. So obviously Luka is out for today. He's going to be out for the next week or so. A lot of people probably pivoting to Kyrie Irving. But I think PJ Washington's really the guy that steps up into a bigger role, a little bit more opportunity here. Obviously Kyrie is a big part of this offense regardless. And, his touches are obviously a little bit up without Luka, but I think PJ is getting the biggest boost here. Now, I do want to say I went to his 23.5 points and rebounds. That got bumped to 24.5. So maybe just pivoting to his PRA. You could still go to the points and rebounds because I like his rebounding without Luka in the lineup, especially this year. I don't love his assist potential, but he's also going up against Atlanta that allows a whole bunch of statistics, including steals and blocks. So I think I'm going to pivot here to his fantasy score. But again, I went to his points and rebounds line. Let's take a look at PJ Washington. Obviously, we had to look at what he's done without Luka, but obviously what he's done this year as well. It's a 50% hit rate for the games so far this year. He's crushed it in a few of these games, and that's no surprise because Luka's missed a few games this year. He's missed 3 games this year, and all 3 of those games, PJ saw a huge boost in terms of shots. You see his field goals 13, 15, 14, and also he's just doing a lot more stuff. Rebounding is really, really good. I think he's averaged more, in all 3 of these games, I think he had more than 10 rebounds. So if you want to just look at a straight rebounds line, that could also be a way to look at this. But yeah, he's been rebounding really well. He scores a little bit better. This team is Atlanta. We're going to look at their points allowed, assists allowed, rebounds allowed, everything in the green for this team. So great defensive matchup for PJ Washington. And also head-to-head matchups, he's gone over in both of these as well in terms of points, rebounds, assists. He had 32 and 30, and also he went over this in his terms of his fantasy score as well, 33 and 38.1. These were both last year, but still good to see that he's hit against this team. So 50-50 in terms of the entire season, but you got to look into the games that, Luka's a big part of this team. Obviously, he's gone over in all 3 of these games easily without Luka this year, and then considering the fact that he did play these guys last year twice, and he went over in both those games. Looks like he played him without Luka once and went over as well. So I'm liking PJ Washington. That's going to be my pivot for the Mavs. Great matchup here. I think it's like a 3 or 2 point spread, so hopefully a close one. And then, of course, for market value-wise, you can take a look at his points and assists. You can take a look at points and assists, points and rebounds. A couple of these ones, nothing too crazy in terms of market value, but they are more like 50-50 lines, slightly favoring the over. They're not going to show his fantasy score just because not a whole lot of things have this up. Also want to look at the RotoWire projection model, which I have not done, so let's do that. Sometimes it doesn't agree with me, but we'll see what they're looking for. So fantasy score, they are looking like the over 33.3. I think PJ could crush this line. Again, if you want to look at rebounds specifically, I think that's also a good way to play this, but I think PJ in a good spot to hit his overs for today. So that's going to be the first play of the video. All right, the next play was going to be Trey Lyles there at points, rebounds, assists. They literally just took it off the board as I typed it in. I'm not sure why that's locked, but I assume this will stay up. If not, though, it's going to be on multiple different platforms. We can see right here, if we look at OddsJam, take a look at Trey Lyles. I'm looking at the under, by the way. Looks like Underdog still has it. Betr, Dabble, they all still have this play and favored on the under by a lot of these other books. So definitely something to look at. Maybe PrizePicks is adjusting their line, but I'm going to go over this play regardless if you want to take it on something like Underdog, Betr, Dabble, all platforms that I'm partnered with on this channel. So if you want to check out these, I also send out plays for all of these every single day over in my Discord. You get a free month of my Discord anytime you use one of these signups. And again, if you're only on PrizePicks, you want to branch out for some better payout systems, some plays that are platforms that give us discounts and boosts much more than PrizePicks does. Definitely check out Underdog, Betr, Dabble. I've already made an Underdog slip, so maybe I'll give you one of those and you can add Trey Lyles to that. But we're going to be looking at his under 12.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So let's take a look. I'm not sure why this is so high. I, again, assume PrizePicks is bumping their line down right now. But he's gone under in 71% of games. A lot of these games doing absolutely nothing. You see the big, red spot here. That's because he was getting a whole bunch of minutes. That was Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, both out of the lineup in that one, or for this stretch at least. When games with all these guys playing, so obviously Malik Monk potentially coming back too, that would be huge for this. But with games with Fox, with DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis, under in 12 of 14 games, the 2 games that he went over on, one of these games he randomly had 3 free throws made, which doesn't happen very often, and that he just crept over in that game. And then the other game he shot 5 of 7 from the field, so 71%. If he's going to shoot 7 shots, that might be problematic for us, but very, very easily under in a lot of these games with all their players active, which it is looking like today. And he's got a tough matchup going up against OKC, who don't allow a whole bunch of points. They don't allow a whole bunch of assists. He also has played these guys a few times, and he went under in both the matchups last year. So a guy that has a pretty good history staying under against this team that is pretty good defensively, a team that might run a little small as well, so probably doesn't go good for a taller guy, a slower guy like Trey Lyles. So I am liking this under. Going into some market value, again, this was up on PrizePicks. If I refresh the page, they wouldn't show this anymore because it got taken down or moved or whatever. 12.5, they are liking the under. We just took a look at the market value over here. Looks like it's back up for PrizePicks as well. So, that's something good. So we can take the under here. But yeah, looking pretty good there. Then moving along to the next play here, it's going to be in the same game, same team, and it's going to be Domantas Sabonis on the over. I do like DeMar DeRozan also. They both just play really well against OKC, and Sabonis is a former OKC Thunder. I don't know if you guys know that. He played his rookie year in OKC only for 1 year before going to the Pacers here. But 37 points and rebounds and assists, a PRA, is a pretty good value here over on PrizePicks, so this is probably where I would play it as of right now. But we can take a look at him. I also played his first quarter assists on Underdog at 1.5. He's crushed this every single game against OKC. He's crushed this a ton of games so far this year. He is on a back-to-back, and he was dealing with an injury, so potentially a little bit less minutes here, but he's been really, really good in terms of back-to-backs. He hasn't showed up on the injury report at all, so it doesn't seem like that back injury is hurting him too much. And yeah, he's one of those guys that's super, super consistent. We've talked about it with Jaylen Brown. We've talked about it with Vucevic this year. He's going to be at or around this line with a pretty good chance of going over this 37, or I guess I'm showing it at 36.5. But yeah, he's been right around this line. The head-to-head looks great. Obviously didn't get there against them last time they played, only 8 points in that game, but his scoring is actually, I think, having the most points so far his entire career, even with DeRozan on board. He's averaging about 20 points a game. He's also rebounding extremely well against this team. He's gone up against Hartenstein a few times in his career. Obviously, no Chet Holmgren here. And we can see that this isn't like the best matchup in terms of the Thunder, in terms of points allowed, rebounds allowed, assists allowed, but obviously Chet Holmgren and now Hartenstein's into that lineup, so they do look a little bit different. If they do go small, so he's rebounded well against Hartenstein, that's what I meant to say, but also if they do go small, Sabonis isn't one of those guys that's going to get played off the court, and if they go small, Sabonis is going to be the biggest guy out there by far, so should be able to grab a whole bunch of rebounds, score pretty much at will, and assist potential pretty good here in terms of assists allowed at 23. Again, if they go small, I don't love that assist potential a little bit more, but he has assisted really, really well against these guys. Again, with the injuries, it is tough to kind of predict exactly what's going to happen here with DeRozan, but a guy that's super consistent, giving us a little good market value here at 37.0. A lot of books already have this at 37.5, including Underdog. A lot of Pinnacle. Looks like DraftKings is at 36.5. They're favoring the over 37.5. People are all around this 37 line. So in terms of market value, pretty much a 50-50 line. But I'm liking Sabonis in this spot. Again, back-to-back sets is another thing here. Obviously coming off a little bit of an injury, but he's played 3 back-to-backs so far this year, and he's crushed it in all of those games. So like what I'm seeing from Sabonis, maybe not the best matchup in the world, but potentially could be if they do go small and he ends up being the biggest guy out there by far. So I'm riding with Sabonis. You could also take a look at his first quarter assists at 1.5. He's absolutely crushed that line. If I want to show that just really quick, a lot of games destroying this line. The 4 games last matchups against OKC, he's had at least 3 in all of those. So liking Sabonis here going up against the Thunder. And then I mentioned DeMar DeRozan here, but 22.5 points and rebounds, really good market value. This is available on Underdog. So if you guys do want to check out Underdog and using code RichPicks, again, let me know so I can get you in for a free month of my Discord. You're going to get the 100% deposit match up to your first $1,000. But you could also run out Sabonis first quarter assist with DeMar at 22.5 points and rebounds. Just quickly pointing out DeMar. You see OKC don't allow a whole bunch of points. They do allow a decent amount of rebounds, but to small forwards specifically, they allow a ton of points and a ton of rebounds. DeMar slots into that position. He's one of those consistent guys. Couple games, this is an absolute dud, but he only played 17 minutes in this game. This was a dud for Sacramento in general, 98 points on the board. He played 40 minutes, just couldn't get anything going. But other than that, been very, very consistent. He's another guy that is kind of coming back from injury. They are in a back-to-back, but he played 35 minutes coming back from injury. He's not showed up on the injury report at all, and in back-to-back games so far this year, he hasn't showed anything, in terms of slowing down. 24, 36, and 29 in those back-to-back games. Head-to-head versus OKC, he's also gone over in both the matchups. These, of course, were last year, but good to see he has a decent amount of success against this team. So I want to point out DeMar, good little combo here. They correlate pretty well. Sabonis and DeMar have been playing really well off each other, so could go that way too. And then next up, I want to talk about Malik Beasley. Again, no Cade Cunningham, most likely in this game. And Malik Beasley has been really, really good as of late. He's hit this 3.5 three-pointers made line in 8 straight games. He's also played really well against Toronto in the past that we'll take a look at. I also like his 16.5 points. Obviously, these go hand in hand. If he's going to get 4 threes, he'll probably get over his points line as well. So maybe a good pivot to the 16.5. This was at 17.5. Which is why I looked at the 3-pointers, but these obviously go hand in hand. So I wanted to point out Malik, not the best matchup here in terms of 3-pointers made allowed overall, but he does slot into that shooting guard position where they do give up a decent amount of threes. Again, 8 straight games to go over this 3-pointers line. Is Cade a guy that can set him up for some threes? Yes, but he did go over in the one game without Cade so far. He shot 4 of 9 from the 3-point land, and that was against Orlando, who is a pretty good defense. Now he gets Toronto, which isn't as good of a defense. He's also at home, so kind of a boost there. And then head-to-head, obviously, he was on Milwaukee last year, but he had a 6 3-pointer game against them. He had an 8 3-pointer game against them, had a dud here, and then again, of course, played these guys a few days ago and had 4 3-pointers. This is going to go hand in hand with his points, so we're going to see, obviously, crushed his points line in 3 of those 4 games as well, and then also 50% of the games so far this year, but, recently has been playing really, really well. The game without Cade, obviously, coming the last game, he had 18 points and shot 12 attempts. His attempts have been up. I do think that Cade Cunningham, kind of sets him up for a decent amount of shots here. But I also think Beasley's going to let it fly whenever he's, open from 3, which could translate to a decent amount of points to the shooting guard position. Toronto allows a whole bunch of points. And again, we saw how successful he's been against this team in the past 3 or 4 games. He's crushed this line. And then the last play of the video that I want to point out here is Ivica Zubac over 10.5 rebounds over on Underdog. This is great market value. I'll show you right here. 54.34% chance to hit. Anyone that's got him at 10.5, heavily favored to go over. Couple books bouncing up to 11.5, and a lot of the fixed payout systems are chilling at 11, which is where PrizePicks is at right now. So great market value here at 10.5. He's been crushing this line. He's a double-double machine this year, averaging 33 minutes. Now he does get Boston, who doesn't allow a whole bunch of rebounds to the center position, but I don't think Al Horford's going to play today. I don't think Luke Kornet's going to play, and Porzingis is coming back, who's not the best rebounder in the world. He's a big guy, but he's not the best rebounder in the world. So Zubac's in a pretty good position here to continue kind of this double-double streak. Head-to-head, only 10, but that was a 145-108 blowout against them last year. Against Boston, he only played 26 minutes in that one, and still, again, 10 rebounds in that one, with not a whole bunch of rebounds to be had. 145 points. You're probably not missing that many shots if you're Boston, so not as many to get, gobble up for Zubac. So really, really good this year. Obviously, really, really good market value. Going up against Boston, they are 10.5-point underdogs. They are away as well, but he's been able to hit in away games. He's been able to get a ton of rebounds in a lot of these games. And again, with no Al Horford, no Luke Kornet, it's probably going to be Keita and Porzingis down there. Guys that aren't, the best rebounders in the world and not the worst rebounders in the world. But I don't think this 7 rebounds allowed is, the best story unless Boston comes out there and shoots the lights out like they did last year and kind of blow these guys off the court. I don't totally expect that. So I think Zubac, in more of a normal setting where he's getting 30 or so minutes, he should be able to get, at least 11 rebounds for us. So that is going to be the last play of the day. Again, we talked about a decent amount of plays over on PrizePicks. Trey Lyles is another one that kept getting bounced around the board. Let's see if he's back. We were looking at the under 12.5 PRA. So you could add all of these. Obviously, Malik Beasley is a guy that, a little bit harder to trust, but he's been really, really good the past few games. Trey Lyles, I like that under a lot. If you don't like Sabonis' full game, 37.0 PRA. Again, I gave you guys this underdog slip. You could look at his first quarter assists and add that to DeMar DeRozan, who also plays really good against OKC, and then add the Zubac 10.5 line. That's really, really good market value. It's code RichPicks when signing up for Underdog if you're new. Again, you're going to get a $1,000 deposit match, which is awesome. Doesn't mean you have to put $1,000 in, but if you want to, if you're someone that has a bigger bankroll and you want to, take advantage of that, you would start with $2,000. If you want to just put $50 in, they'll match that as well, and you'll start with $100. You're also going to get a free month of my Discord. So anyone that uses my codes for any of my sponsors, PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr, Sleeper, Dabble, Flip, Parlay, Play, Chalkboard, all of those will equal a free month, and then you guys can get into this chat where we're always talking sports, talking props, having a lot of fun, making laughs, and it's a good spot to enjoy, watching sports together, bouncing your ideas off each other, and of course getting access to all my slips, all the seasoned chef slips in here, guys that have been doing it for a while. You can share your own ideas and thoughts, and again, it's just a whole lot of fun. So if you like these videos, if you're someone that likes sports, betting on sports, definitely check us out. Links for all these are in the description of the video. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. Sorry for like the down in the dumps type of attitude. Got to bring the energy back up here, but definitely you can probably hear in my voice, my sinuses are messed up. Can't hear out of my left ear. I got some headache in my forehead, some weird stuff going on, cheekbones, all these different things. You guys don't need to hear about that. But yeah, the one legs have been tough. Our individual hit rate continues to be really, really good. I know we're doing the right thing. When you go after these plus 900 plays, which is the mathematical way to play PrizePicks, you want to be playing 5-mans. You want to be playing 6-mans. On Underdog, you want to be playing 3-mans. On Dabble, you want to be playing 3-mans, 6-mans. It's tough when you're going for plus 500, plus 900, plus 2,400 plays. It's not going to roll your way every single time. But when you are attacking value, that's the way you do it. And again, our individual hit rate has been superb. It's been awesome. It just sucks when you get 4 good reads and then one guy misses by 0.5 over and over and over again. I can count the amount of times that's happened to us over the past 2 weeks. So it's been a rough patch, but again, we're doing the right thing. We're making the good reads, and that's all we can continue to do. And again, our luck will change at some point, and the balls start, rolling our way. But yeah, if you're new around here, definitely go and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. Let me know you guys are still with me here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more plays. Hopefully some good basketball tonight. Again, entertainment at the end of the day, and hopefully we get some bets to roll our way forward today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.